Okay, thank you. All right, bye-bye. Okay. Okay, let's see. Mhm. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. We are back and back up on air and having fun, looking at Talking about the impeachment hearings and getting that out of the way. I was off the air all last week, and we were working on a lot of issues. But the impeachment hearings, as far as I'm concerned, were a bust. Most people would say the same thing. They're a bust. Nobody really cares because we know that Joe Biden committed quid pro quo. So the Democrats weren't getting any traction with quid pro quo. So they said, "Oh, well, the president committed bribery. Maybe the American people don't understand." This is what they said. People are so dumb, they don't understand what quid pro quo means. It's Latin, after all, a dead language. So maybe if we just tell them that it's bribery, maybe they'll change their minds and they'll get with the program and they'll want us to impeach Donald Trump. Well, they don't understand. There are people out here who love Donald Trump. And I must admit, I'm one of them. I don't agree with everything the president does. Like I said, the NFL kneeling thing, I thought he was absolutely wrong on that. But in terms of the economy, China, immigration, trade, our military expenditures at home and abroad to other countries, our foreign aid, I'm with him on all those things. These people need to start pulling their own weight and sharing their own pulling their own weight when we start talking about um, military and economic aid. Why are we giving Israel $20 billion a year? Because of the Jewish lobby? The people call, "Oh my God, Charles is anti-Semitic." Charles, no, I'm talking about billions of dollars that goes to another country. God damn it. Let's get real here. What would that $10 billion do for the infrastructures of cities here in America? Jobs, infrastructure better, schools better. Israel can make it on their own. In fact, they don't have poverty in Israel. They don't have ghettos in Israel. They don't have poor people in Israel. Shit, I want to go to Israel. Make some room. I'm becoming the next new Jewish person. But I love the Jewish religion. That's true. I really do. I love it for a number of reasons. One is that it's very heady. It's very intellectual. In the black church, it's about scaring people and demanding and, oh, you'll get your reward in heaven. Just be a good Negro here on earth. Hey, I'm just saying. But Adam Schiff could not get any traction. And the guy, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get that we don't care what he has to say about President Trump. We don't care. And yeah, we understand what he's trying to do. We understand that Trump's supposed to be the bad guy. But this is what Adam Schiff had to say the other day that just cracked me up. I couldn't take it anymore. I said, "Hey, wait a minute." He closed out, and these are his statements out of his mouth. Let's listen to Adam Schiff. Uh-oh, is Adam Schiff playing? Let's see. Here we go. Oh yeah, so he bangs the gavel, and he's in the words of Elijah Cummings. We are better than that. Well, I didn't have much respect for Elijah Cummings, not at all. I mean, Elijah Cummings. I heard that in order to get business done with Elijah Cummings, people who came before his committee donated to his wife's foundation. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if the investigation's true or not. I'm just telling you what I've heard from folks on the Hill. Okay. But Adam Schiff in this, we're better than that. Yeah, you are, Adam. You're better than a lot of things. But one thing is for sure, you're not going to best this president come 2020. You can impeach, you can send it to the Hill. It's not going anywhere, Adam. Do you understand? He doesn't get it. I don't think Adam Schiff really understands that we, the American people, don't care what he does, what he says about President Trump. And the reason we don't is because we know that he's not telling the truth. He's not telling the truth. He's lying. So let's look at what the president's doing in terms of uh, 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 the Navy and the Navy SEALs and the Army and some of the people that have been railroaded dishonorably. I remember there was a guy in the My incident, and I'm trying to come up with his name, Kelly, Lieutenant Kelly. See, these are things that have burned in your mind, whether you try to remember them or not, whether you try to shut them out or not. My Lieutenant Kelly. He was blamed for the massacre at My. This is a man who's drafted out of, or I don't know if he volunteered or he's drafted, but anyway, he's leading troops in Vietnam, and they run into a village that had been shooting at them. People had been shooting at them from the village, and they burned the village down. Well, Viet Cong were shot, civilians were shot. And in Vietnam, the people were farmers during the day and Viet Cong at night. That's a fact. So they're shooting these dudes, man. They're shooting them, My Lai, for those of you who don't know, real bad scene. Spelled Mylai, My Lai. And the only person that did jail time was Lieutenant Kelly. Totally scapegoated. I was in high school at the time, and I felt bad for him. I felt so bad for him because here's a guy, in my opinion, who put it all on the line for America. And when it came time for America to stand up and support him, killing the enemy, he was railroaded. They said, here it is. A company of U.S. soldiers brutally killed most of the people, men, women, and children, and old men in the village of My Lai in 1968. Yeah, that's one side of it. We don't know. We never really got the true story of My Lai. And there's one survivor of My Lai, and then they talk about the truth behind My Lai, yada, yada, yada. Captain Ernest Medea led his assault in the village. Yeah, but the only person I think who went down for this was Lieutenant Kelly. But anyway, same way with these soldiers in this Navy SEAL that was convicted, busted, and they wanted to put in prison because he's a warfighter. They wanted to put this guy in jail for doing his job, killing the enemy. Navy SEALs don't go out and police. Green Beret don't go out and police. Military, Marine Corps infantry don't go out and police. Army infantry, they go out and they kill people. That's their job. Killing the enemy. And for those of you who think you know anything about the military or war, it's like I find that most people are kind of like the folks I run into who talk about guns. And their only experience with guns are one, the TV, the movies, and what they hear on TV and what they read. Well, let me tell you this. Go read a book about flying a F-15 and tell me that you think you can fly one. Or an F-16 or an F-14. You can't. You have to have experience. You have to have training. And I hear all of these people, especially these politicians, talk about, oh, well, if we just reduce the size of magazines, we can save lives. BS. Whether I have a 5-shot clip or 10-shot clip or 20-shot clip, changing a clip takes less than 3 or 4 seconds. And with an expert, a guy who's been practicing, it's probably more like 2 or 3. That's just a fact. Oh, we can save lives. Lie after lie. I heard a guy on NPR today talking about guns, and he referenced some of my people, some of my stalwart people like John Lott and John Lott he wrote a book called more guns, less crimes, which is very analytical, very quantitative. And this guy says, well, more thought needs to be put into it. He's some teacher down at University of Tennessee, and he thinks he knows something about guns, but he admitted he didn't. He never really shot guns, and this is just an academic exercise. Now, for those of you who haven't followed this or you don't know, President Trump pardoned Master Chief Gallagher, who was convicted of killing civilians and killing unarmed combatants. Well, if you're a combatant and you're unarmed, this is a bad day for you because you're going to get popped, and you should get popped. One of the things you're taught in service, especially as a Marine or in the Army infantry, you never leave your gun. You don't go to the bathroom without your gun. You go nowhere without your rifle. I call it a gun. Let me use the proper syntax. Rifle. Your rifle is your friend. Your rifle is your best friend. See, I mean, all these things are drummed into you in the military. Yeah. Anyway, so this enemy combatant who'd been fighting with these Navy SEALs, I guess he walked away from his weapon and dropped his weapon and went to get a Coke. He got caught without it. Ta-ta. Done. So they think we're still operating, these people in the Pentagon, they think we're still operating under the Barack Obama crazy ass rules. Like the people in the State Department think we're still operating under Barack Obama's crazy rules. Barack Obama was a Muslim sympathizer by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not just making that up because I don't like President Obama. I'm just talking about his actions, talking about the repercussions of his actions. So the Secretary of Defense, a guy named Mark Asper, fired the Navy Secretary, Richard Spencer, yesterday. And this was over the discredited Navy SEAL that had created high-level friction between the president and the Pentagon. Spencer, who was SecNav, was fired after Asper's DOD, SecDef, learned that the Secretary of the Navy was negotiating a deal with the White House to find a solution to a military and political crisis. That had pitted the president, basically, against the Pentagon and senior members at the Pentagon who believed that good order and discipline of the military was at stake. Good order and military discipline was at stake. Let me think about that. The president says hey, look at this case and look at this well, because you're trying to convict a man who is a real hero, a guy who was awarded combat medals, a guy who's proven his valor on the combat field, unlike Vindman, who was wounded in a Humvee doing a workup to the Iraqi invasion, and his Humvee was hit by an IED and he was wounded and he was out of it. I'm just, truth. I always say truth is great. Is far more interesting than fiction, and certainly far funnier than fiction. So the Asper, who's took Mattis's place as defense secretary, said, "I'm deeply troubled by this conduct shown by a senior DOD official. Unfortunately," he goes on to say, "as a result, I have determined that Secretary Spencer is Secretary of the Navy, no longer has my confidence to continue in his position. I wish Richard well." Woo. It's about 2 sentences. The firing came, though, just days after Mr. Trump had intervened in the case of the Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer Ed Gallagher, who was cleared of all serious war crimes. Cleared, totally cleared. And we know that the prosecution held back pertinent information that could have exonerated this man from being charged as a war criminal. They held the information back. And they got promotions and awards for taking this guy, putting this guy on, prosecuting this guy. Trump took them all back. I love it. He could have said, well, that's water under the bridge. We'll let it. No, he said, oh, no. These are bad people. He took those damn awards back. I love it. And I hope he denies these people promotions in the future. So Trump intervened in the case of Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer Ed Gallagher, who'd been cleared of any serious war crimes and war charges in Iraq in 2017, though he was convicted on a lesser charge earlier this month that ordered his rank and pay to be, but President Trump ordered his rank and pay to be restored because they busted him down to, I think a first class. And, this is horrible. So earlier this month, though, the president restored Chief Gallagher's rank and pay, but Navy officials planned additional administrative proceedings that may have resulted in him losing his revered Trident. Trident is the badge that Navy SEALs wear that symbolizes his membership in the elite commando force. In a statement announcing Mr. Spencer's firing, the Pentagon said, given the events of the last few days, Secretary Asper has directed that Gallagher retain his Trident pin. Officials said the Navy's internal review wouldn't go forward, and Mr. Gallagher would retire with his current rank and pin. I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. I love it. I think he got a great break and deservedly so. Now, let's see here. They were talking about the House. The White House spokeswoman did not respond in a request for comment by the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if she responded to anyone else. But Mr. Spencer is a former Marine, and he said in a letter to Mr. Trump that he couldn't continue to serve as secretary if the review couldn't go forward following Mr. Trump's intervention. Seen as circumventing the military judicial system, Mr. Spencer said that he couldn't, in good conscience, obey an order that I believe violates the sacred oath I took in the presence of my family, my flag, and the faith to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Undersecretary of the Navy, Tom Medley, will serve as acting, I want to say Secretary of the Navy, SecNav. And that's the skinny on that. So Spencer said that he couldn't, in good conscience, obey an order that he believed violates the sacred oath he took. Yeah, okay. So now you're gone. And we have a guy in there named David Motley. Godly Motley. And finally, Kenneth Bradwaith will the ambassador to Norway, who will be the next Navy secretary. The deal Mr. Spencer was attempting to negotiate with the White House would have resulted in the Navy conducting its internal review without President Trump's interference. But in a compromise Multiple U.S. officials said that the deal would have allowed Chief Gallagher to retire with the Trident, which had become central to the case, and that had rallied Mr. Trump and many of his supporters in the commando's favor. Wow. This would also effectively have created the appearance of the military judicial system being moving without political interference, even though it would have resulted in Chief Gallagher keeping his pen. At the same time, though, Ed Asper, who's the DOD, Sec DOD, and chairman of Joint Chiefs, Army General Mark Milley, were arguing for the process to go forward without any preordained conclusions about whether Chief Gallagher would keep his pen. This is deep, man. It gets, it circles around, circles around. Bottom line is this guy was railroaded. And what he was brought up on charges for, uh, I thought were bogus. And I'm glad that he gets to keep his pen. I'm glad that he's gets to keep his pay, and I'm glad he's retiring and spending some time with his wife. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back. So that's keep it going. Uh-oh. Christmas. Christmas. I love that song. I love this time of the year. And I really love this time of the year when I was married, had my daughter, and that was just a great time. She'd always say, I can tell when it's Christmas time because you always play 93.9. Yeah, I was her stepfather. She said, you and dad always do that. Yeah, I hope she has great memories about that. And she does the same thing with her kids. The next story. Oh God, this is great. The next story that I wanted to really talk about is all of these women who are testifying before the. Hold on. Okay. Oh, hello. Let me help you out. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. I get. I know what's going on. You know. Okay. So look, give me a minute here. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. God, I can't find it. Light. It's what is it? Come on, Charles. Come on. Oh man. Oh man. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this. Let's go RS. Okay. And then there was a light thing over here. Come on. Sorry, we're getting ready. We're going to bring on a guest. Come on, Butler. Shoot. Come on. Come on. I'm looking for it and I don't have it. I don't have it. It's come on. Okay. I'm going to we're going to bring on a guest here shortly and trying to figure this out. Hold on. Come on, Butler. One, two, three, four. Hey Scott, what is the program we use to do the call in? Okay, okay, thanks. Okay, what you told me. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so our system's down for call ins. Systems down for call ins. Boy, boy, boy. Now they tell me. Okay, so what we're going to talk about. What we're going to talk about is the, let's see, come on, systems down for call ins. Now I got to go to work. This is when you need a producer. And I'm sorry that I'm doing this for you, but let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, Karen called. Okay, reply. Let me hit Josh on the. See, because I had two sets of folks calling in. No. Uh, system. Oh, come on, man. System down for call ins. Sorry. Oh, man. Okay, so then I got to call the RNC. And I had a lady coming on from the RNC. Doggone it. And I hate when this happens, but things happen. We'll get it straight. And then hopefully tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Oh, man. I can't get it. Doggone it. Let's see here. Uh, we will see Osprey. Let's see Gabrielle. Hey, Charles. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Cassie Smedley. Kathy Smedley. I got to call Kathy and apologize. So you guys going to hear me copping this plea, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But but stay tuned because we're gonna talk about uh, the women at the impeachment hearing last week, and they were just so great. I thought I didn't agree with them, but they were definitely wrong. Definitely, especially Yovanovitch. So it's bad like that. Here we go. Okay, so with the RNC trying to get through. It's bad. I can't help it. I hate this when this happens. Yep. Anyway, let's play while we're working. While we're waiting, let's see here. We'll go ahead and we'll play some of the ladies who were testifying last week, and hear what they had to say about uh, the proceedings. See what they had to say about the phone call. Let's play them. Here we go. Hold it. Wait a minute. I don't care what you do, who you agree with. When the president of the United States change, you put his picture up. I remember when Herbert Walker Bush lost to Bill Clinton, and people hated that Bill Clinton was coming in. Doesn't make any difference about your political allegiance or personal feelings. You switch. This woman, this ambassador, refused to put President Trump's picture up in the embassy, in the Ukrainian embassy. Is she crazy? And then she gets on, I'm a nonpartisan. I've worked for 40 years, 30 years as a foreign service officer, and I'm not. She's a lie. She's a lying. She's lying. I'm not going to get too wound up about this. But, these are things that didn't come out in the hearing. And you have congressmen who are too polite to call this woman out. See, I don't care if you're a man, woman, child. I don't care about your sexual orientation. I don't care about your political affiliations. I don't care if you call yourself a binary, non-binary, man, woman. Doesn't make any difference to me. Let's just deal with the facts. I'm not concerned about your feelings. I tell people all the time, hey, don't pay attention to what Trump says. Pay attention to what he's done and what he's doing. And if you disagree with that, if you have a problem with that, hey, we got something to talk about. We have something to work with. But I just don't like him because he doesn't speak well. He's just too rambunctious. Oh, okay. I agree. But the country is thriving. Symbol is back. We're strong again because we're Americans. I always say this about America. There are about 5 things that make America great. There are 5 things that make us who we are that everybody in the world tries to emulate. Everyone. The EU's tried to emulate it, but they can't make it work. Why? Because they're not Europeans. The European thing doesn't mean anything. You have Spain. It's 13 countries in the EU. Spain and Turkey now, I think, and the Britain and France and Brussels and yeah. It's 13 of them. So what did they do? They said, okay, we'll be governed out of Belgium. Okay, out of Brussels, Belgium. Okay, but the Brits have said we don't want to be governed by some bureaucrats who don't know who we are, where we are, don't know our history. We don't want to be governed by them. It's like being governed by the UN. Could you imagine that? So you got Brexit on the table again, and you got the good people of EU. They shouldn't have to, but they are, because the bureaucrats, they know better than the people. They work for the people. It's like this lady Yovanovitch. She works for President Trump, not Obama. Nobody cares what she thinks or her policy, what she thinks policy should be. We don't give a crap. You're not elected. We don't care what you think. Well, I'm the expert on, it's kind of like I'm the expert on the Ukraine, is what she said. I'm the expert on Russia. She's lying. There are a whole bunch of people who claim to be expert on what? What decisions has she made? Absolutely none. Everywhere she's gone, she's blown it. Somalia, horrible. We had to pull their asses out of Somalia. We got a lot of Marines killed saving these bureaucrats in Somalia, these diplomats who thought they knew the people. They're pathetic. So Yovanovitch, well, I was wrongly terminated. There's no such thing as wrongly terminating you. You serve at the will of the President of the United States. Simple. This is not up for discussion. You would even hang his picture, which is protocol, which you have to do. You would hang his picture in the embassy. She should have been gone. See, but doing it, we have to be nice. Nice. See, I don't believe in nice. I believe in treating everybody alike. Women, children, doesn't make any difference. Man, woman, a child. So Ambassador Yovanovitch, she's too funny. This is what she had to say about being recalled. Listen. They don't have to. They don't have to justify anything to you. They don't have to explain anything to you. You serve at the will of the president, and the job you had done was piss poor. Your own record is horrible. All the corruption that went on your watch, on the ambassador's watch before you. Joe Biden saying what? If you don't fire the prosecutor, who was supposed to be an anti-corruption prosecutor, going after Barista, and you knew that everybody agrees that he was going after Barista. Even the ambassador had to agree that the prosecutor was going after him. So how could he be a guy when he was going after one of the most corrupt institutions in the country? But it just so happens Hunter Biden Joe Biden's son was connected to the company. You can't make this stuff up. But anyway, these are the kind of narratives that we have going on that people need to come to grips with. The bottom line is none of these people who are foreign service officers, they don't have it their own way. They don't establish policy. The president does. They don't tell us what to do. We tell them what to do. They can make suggestions. They can make recommendations. But at the end of the day, it falls on the president and his team to decide what foreign policy is, whether it's with China or Russia or the Ukraine. How come she's not bitching and moaning and complaining about Barack Obama giving up the Crimea Peninsula to the damn Russians? See, we have too many girly men in the State Department, and we have too many soft women, because there are hard women who can do the job, who can call balls and strikes, like Ambassador Haley. She can call balls and strikes. She's a tough girl. I like her. So, anyway, I want to talk about the president's accomplishments, and it's going to take a while, so we got 12 minutes. So let's take all of that time to talk about President Trump's accomplishments, if you don't mind. So, the economy. Since President Trump was elected, we've over 6.9 million jobs have been created, 4.8 million more jobs than the Congressional Budget Office projected prior to 2016 and that election. Since President Trump was elected, 4.6 million prime age workers have come off the sidelines and joined the labor force. Highlights of the October jobs report. A net 223,000 jobs were added, and a total employment jumped to 158.5 million, a record high. The August report was revised from 168,000 to 219,000, and the September report was revised from 136,000 to 180,000. The unemployment rate was near a record low at 3.6. October marked the 20th consecutive month that the unemployment rate had been at or below 4%. How about that, Barack Obama? Oh, it's Barack Obama's economy. Bull stuff. As we like to say out on the ranch, it's Boulder Dash, but, or bovine. Let's see, wage growth remains strong at 3% year over year. And throughout the Trump administration, we've seen record low employment for women, Black Americans, Latino Americans, and Asian Americans. The Dow Jones average hit record highs more than 80 times under President Trump, including closing higher than 26,000 points for the first time in his history. Under President Trump, 6.2 million people have come off food stamps. Wow, that's incredible. Under President Trump's leadership, he passed historic tax cuts for relief of hard-working Americans. The Tax Cuts and Job Act is the first major tax reform signed in 30 years. As a result of the historic tax cuts, nearly 9,000 opportunity zones were created in 50 states, D.C., 5 territories. Opportunity zones will spur about $100 billion in private capital investment and impact nearly 35 million Americans. The Tax Cuts and Job Act increased the child tax credit by 100%, keeping more money in the pockets of hardworking mothers. President Trump also rolled back unnecessary job-killing regulations at a record pace. The administration has cut 8.5, thus far exceeding the promise to cut 2 regulations for every one. I love this guy, man. I love this guy. Regulatory costs have been slashed by nearly $50 billion and saved taxpayers $220 billion. and some actions are still pending. Deregulation efforts have saved American households an average of $3,100 per year. Thank you, President Trump. The administration formed the governor's initiative on regulatory innovation and aims to better align state and federal efforts to cut additional unnecessary regulations and costs. On immigration, we got 7 minutes here. On immigration, President Trump is fulfilling his promise to build a border wall with sizable portions already finished or under construction. It's expected that 450 miles will be finished by the end of this year. To date, 66 of the new wall has replaced an old and ineffective barrier. Currently, 167,000 miles of wall are under construction with high entry sectors such as San Diego, El Centro, El Paso, and Yuma. All the new wall has contributed to about a 56% overall decrease in the number of illegal migrants arriving at the border. Get them, President Trump. Get them. Successfully decimated ISIS. Under President Trump, the number one terrorist, Abu Barak al-Baghdadi, was taken out. That's what it says here in the release. In the release from the RNC, he was taken out. President Trump fulfilled his promise to name Jerusalem's Israel's capital city and move the U.S. embassy. President Trump held 2 historic summits with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, further demonstrating the administration's commitment to denuclearized Korean Peninsula. And President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Iraq nuclear agreement and instituted the toughest sanctions in history to drive the regime's oil exports to a zero. Wow. Amazing. Trade. I love this area. The president is delivering on his promise to correct trade imbalances, and the administration has taken unprecedented steps to modernize and improve trading practices, negotiate freer, fair, and reciprocal trade agreements with our global allies. The Trump administration, President Trump, has kept his promise to deliver a modern, rebalanced trade deal to replace NAFTA. It's called the USMCA. Nancy Pelosi needs to bring that to a vote. She's more concerned about impeachment. We're going to impeach this president on nothing so that we can have a chance at winning and we can keep on lying. But the American people aren't buying your lies, Nancy. You better call USMCA up for a vote so you'll have something that you can talk about you accomplished and try to take credit for it. That's what I would do, Nancy. Because Trump is kicking butt, man, with foreign policy and trade. Then you talk about the judicial side. He's appointed a number of federal judges, and he's changing the federal judiciary at a record pace. He's installed more federal court judges than any president in the last 4 decades. Wow. President Trump is nominated, and the Senate has confirmed a grand total of 164 Article 3 judges, 2 Supreme Court judges, Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, 48 circuit judges. Trump has appointed a fourth of the nation's circuit court judges, 112 district court judges, and 2 Court of International Trade judges. Wow. Trump's judicial confirmations have flipped 3, the 3rd, the 2nd, the 11th circuits of federal appeal courts to Republican. Wow. Last year, the president broke the record for the most circuit court of appeals judges at 29 confirmed in just 2 years in his presidency. Whoa, boy, I tell you, that's great. Healthcare. He's reduced the price of healthcare and taken significant steps to stop the opioid crisis. The environment. I'm not going to get into that, but he stopped NOAA from continuing its tirade on farmers. Energy. He's unleashed the nation's ability to stand for itself and We're the number one exporter of oil in the world now. Yeah, we are. How about that? Making money hand over fist. Let's see here. Okay, education. Don't have time for that. We'll do some of this tomorrow. But we had Frank Venucio with us tomorrow, and uh, so we're gonna have a great show tomorrow. We're gonna have who else come in? Harper from the Committee to Defend the President. So we got a full plate. Got a full plate. I tell you, it's always great to have a full plate, to have guests coming on and talking about the issues of the day, how they impact you, how they affect you and your family. So, speaking of which, we're going to get ready to close out the show. And here on Red State Talk Radio, glad to be back. Glad to be back on air. It's a little boring out here without getting on and sharing a little bit with you. Hopefully, the what do you call them? Oh, come on. The phones will be up tomorrow. So if they're not, we'll still do what we do. But we love being here and love these Christmas time of the year. So see you same place, same time tomorrow here at Red State Talk Radio and iHeart. And okay. Okay. For those of you who stuck around for the after show, the after the reality check show, we are going to uh, talk about Hong Kong and what's going on in Hong Kong. That they vote today, and their vote, the Hong Kong vote, to rebuke Beijing and rebuke their communism, and they are voting for democracy. So voters delivered a resounding defeat to the government, the Chinese government, mainland government, and a major show of support for the protest movement as millions turned out for local elections. They had like almost 3 million people turn out, 2.9 million people. And they said, and it became a referendum on the mood of the city. The outcome will put more pressure on the government to negotiate with the protesters, demanding an investigation into police violence and Democrat elections for the city's legislature and chief executive. The city's top leader, they call him an executive over there, we call him a mayor, has also been to rebuke Beijing. Well, the president said, well, we stand with the people of Hong Kong. Let's be clear. I mean, see, here you go again with these Brits. The Brits bailed on the people of Hong Kong, just bailed on them, left them out there on their own. Man, and see, they tried to do the same thing in the Middle East. They did the same thing in the Middle East, man. and they left us to carry the load. Okay, so they couldn't hear shift. Okay, so uh, it's one of those things. It's just one of those things. Okay. Um, so as we kind of wrap things up, because we're going to support Hong Kong. Brits, like I said, bailed on Hong Kong, left us holding a bag, left us holding a bag in the Middle East, left us holding a bag in Asia. The French left us holding the bag in Asia. That's how we got into Vietnam. The Brits left us holding the bag in the Middle East. That's how we got into Africa and the Middle East. While they all ran after they had raped and pillaged these companies of all the resources that they could. I'm just saying. It's crazy. But hey, it's the Christmas season. We had the parade of lights this weekend. I'm gonna finish filling out my Christmas cards. Yeah, let's see. Can you hear now? Let me ask this guy, Andrew McLaren. Can you hear now? Let's see. Man, I tell you. Okay. Let's see. So that's all I'm saying. We just need to get busy. We need to get on it. And we need to stay on it. And we need to stay on top of things. And please let your friends know that President Trump did not do anything wrong when he asked the president of the Ukraine to do him a favor and look into and investigate what was going on with the prosecutor, the ambassador, and Hunter Biden. He wasn't doing anything wrong. Now we know there was quid pro quo because Joe Biden told us that in his video, in his talk with the council on the foreign relations. Why would Joe do that? Hey, I just told him I got 6 hours. And if you don't get rid of that prosecutor in 6 hours, you're not going to get that $1 billion loan. I'm not paraphrasing. This is not a parody. Joe Biden said that. Not Charles Butler. So look, but Charles Butler is saying this: I am gone now. So we're gonna definitely hit it and play a little bit more Stevie Wonder this day at Christmas, because are free.